Tofu is a kind of food that is popular in Japan and other Asian countries. It is made from something, so vegetarians can eat it. Well, vegetarians is actually a difficult word. It's someone who does not eat meat. So it's very simple actually, but it's maybe a new word if you're studying at this level. Vegetarian is someone who does not eat meat. We made tofu burgers at the barbecue because Terry is a veggie. So we made tofu at the barbecue because Terry, you can just say, does not eat meat. There are people who will only eat fish. There will be people who won't eat anything that comes from an animal, so no eggs and no milk, things like that. They only eat plant-based food. So, tofu is a kind of food that is popular in Japan and other Asian countries. It is made from something, so vegetarians can eat it. Well, the first one is beans. Beans. Don't know if I have to define beans for you. Beans are beans. That's actually very difficult. Equals peas. Black beans. Beans is in the name. What are other kinds of beans? Chickpeas. I'm going to kind of cheat. Kinds of beans. Pinto beans, black beans, adzuki beans, chickpea, kidney beans. Most of these have beans in the name. So it's very difficult for me to explain a bean if everything else is just bean, bean. A yard-long bean, peas, coffee bean. Oh, that's actually a good one. Let's put that in there. Coffee bean, and tofu comes from soybean. It's not really a definition, just kind of an idea. Okay. It says tofu, and I just said tofu comes from soybeans, so beans is going to be the answer, but let's check the other vocabulary as well. Tones. Tone, sound, pitch. So you can have high pitch or low pitch. So these would be high sounds or low sounds. Oh, sorry. My keyboard. I like this. I like the way this guitar looks, but it actually doesn't have great tone. So I like the way this guitar looks, but it actually doesn't have a great sound. So the guitar looks good, but it doesn't sound good. The tone of the guitar is not good. It's the easiest way to think about it. Inches. A measurement. How long is an inch? This is empirical, not metric. 1/36 of a yard. Oh my God. 1/36 of a yard. Imperial. Also an idiom. So casual equals very small. So an inch is just something that's very small. How much is it in metric? Okay, there you go. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Huh. An inch is a way of measuring. In America, it is 1/36 of a yard. I actually don't know how big a yard is because I've used metric my whole life. But in centimeters, it's 2.54 centimeters. We use it casually to say very small. So casually, it means very small. So we will say, oh, just an inch more, just a little bit more. So it can be also very small, a little bit. The couch is 1 inch from the wall. So this can mean two things. So it could mean the couch is exactly 2.54 centimeters away from the wall. Or it could mean the couch is very close to the wall. So we use it, it can be used as measurement. So that's exactly 2.54 centimeters or 1/36 of a yard. Again, I don't know what that is. Or we use it very casually to say it's close, it's very small. Oh, you almost got hit by the car. The car, that's actually a good one. I almost got hit by a car. It was just inches away from me. So this would mean I almost got hit by a car. It was very close to me. It's pretty good. All right. And the last one is hooks. So a hook is just a curve shape like a J. So if you think of a fishing hook, are used to catch fish. So fishing hooks, how would you then, this is again, it's very direct. A sharp, bent piece of metal. I said A, so we'll have to change that. Sharp, bent pieces of metal are used to catch fish. So it's just that hook shape. Let's see if I can get the camera. Hook shape, that's a hook. You can use hooks. Hang your jacket on the hook over there. Hang your jacket on the bent piece of metal over there. So when you come home, you hang up your jacket on a coat hook. And that's pretty good. So this one I think we knew already because we're talking about tofu, and I actually said tofu beans. Tofu is a kind of food that is popular in Japan and other Asian countries. It is made from beans, so vegetarians can eat it. So there's no meat. All right, number 8. Kana heard that something that there would be a surprise test in English class next week. She did not know if it was true, but she decided to read her notes again anyway. So the words are budget, moment, rumor, and symbol. So budget. Budget equals keeping track of your money or being careful with your money. It's usually the way we would use it. I wanted to go on a trip overseas, so I am keeping a tight budget this year. So this case, what they're going to do is control how much money they spend. I wanted, so I want, no, not I wanted. So I want to go on a trip overseas. So I am keeping a tight budget this year. I want to go on a trip overseas. So I am spending as little money as possible this year. It's one way to use it. That's sort of personal. We would use it in a casual way. I am controlling how much money I spend. project. The project was way over budget. And actually, we do this. This actually happens with movies. So the movie was way over budget, and the director got in trouble. So the movie had so much money they could spend. They were allowed to spend $10 million. I know movies are much bigger now. But the director spent $16 million, too much money, and then he got in trouble. The movie was spending too much money, and the director got in trouble. So over budget. So the budget is how much money you have available, how much money you have to use. So I started keeping a budget because I think I spend too much money. So I started keeping a budget because I started keeping track of my money because I think I spend too much money. So budget is all about money. Money, money, money. Moment equals a short amount of time. Sometimes we use it for like a second. There was a loud noise and I froze for a moment. So there was a loud noise and I did not move for a second. So I just, what was that? And then don't move. Can you wait for just a moment? So this is going to be, can you wait for a short time? So maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but not very long. Rumor. Rumor. Something you hear which could be true or not. So this is going to be very high school. There is a rumor that George kissed Becky. Oh no. Now we don't know if this is true. So I heard a story that George kissed Becky. But I don't know if it really happened. So I heard there is a rumor that George kissed Becky. So I heard a story that George kissed Becky, but I didn't see it. I wasn't there. I don't know if it's true. So I have to ask George or I have to ask Becky, and they can tell me if it's true. And the last one, symbol. Symbol. An image that makes you think of something. So this is very difficult because this can be language, it can be a picture, it can be a lot of different things. Mount Fuji is a symbol of Japan. When people see Mount Fuji, they think of Japan. Some other symbols. Flowers are a symbol of romance. When people see flowers, they think of romance. Now, many things, so like different flowers can have different symbols for different things. So sometimes you have flowers that are for weddings. So the bouquet of flowers. So you see a bouquet, you think of a wedding. It's a symbol of a wedding. It could be lots of different things. Anything can be a symbol of anything. So it's really just, is there a connection in your brain? Kind of heard budget, so they're controlling their money, that there would be a surprise test? No. Kind of heard that a moment, that there would be a surprise test? No. Kind of heard a rumor. So one of her friends said to her, I think there's going to be a surprise English test. We don't know if it's true, so this part is very important. She did not know if it was true, but she decided to read her notes anyway. So she decided to study just to be safe. All right, let's do the last one for today. The mayor promised to something education in the city's high schools. He thinks talking with students and getting their opinions is really important. So the vocabulary is reform, reject, publish, prevent. Let's move that up. So reform. So form means to make. So the form is like the body or a person to make something. Then re is again. So to make something again. The plan we have been using is okay. The plan we have been using is okay, but I think reform is in order. So the plan we are using is okay, but I think we should try to improve it and make it better. Is in order means it's a good idea. The team, the basketball team was losing all year, so the coach changed. The players changed. The coach brought in new players to reform the team. So the basketball team was losing all year. So the coach decided it was time to change the players. So maybe some players had to quit. They were fired. Maybe they got new players to come in. Maybe they just changed their positions. The basketball team was losing all year, so the coach brought in new players to update. Improve the team. Reject. Reject means to say no. To refuse. To not accept something. So reject. I'm always going to use boyfriend and girlfriend. To reject, to refuse, to not accept something. I did a job interview and they offered me a very low wage, so I refused the job. Oh, I did a job interview and they offered me a very low wage, so I said no to the job. That's pretty simple. He asked the girl out and she refused. Oh, she refused. That's pretty direct. He asked the girl out and she said no. So it could also be, this could be kind or mean. Refuse is just to say no. You could do it for presents or something else as well. Publish. The main way we would use this would be to make a book that people can buy. But it's also to have something you have written be made available to everyone. Usually when we say publish, we talk about a book. So I wrote a children's story called The Not Very Scary Monster, and then I had this book published. Now I self-published this book, which means I went on Amazon and I put the book on Amazon by myself. Maybe a company really likes my book and they want to publish it, so they will sell it for me. They will do the advertising, things like that. So when you say publish, people often, the first thing they think about is book. But I could get an article published in a magazine. I could get a story published on the internet, something like that. So I wrote a children's book that was just published. So I wrote a children's book that you can now buy. You can buy it in stores or you can buy it on the internet, something like that. But it's also for articles. I wrote an article for my university and it was published in the paper. I wrote an article for my university and newspaper. Come on. Newspaper. Put it in the paper for people to read. I wrote an article for my university in a newspaper. Put it in the newspaper for people to read. And the last one is to prevent. Equals to stop. Dogs have to wear a collar and be on a leash to prevent them from running away. So if your dog is, maybe puppies are the worst because they don't understand they have to come home or they have to stay with you. When you train your dog, you can do this. Dogs have to wear a collar and be on a leash to stop them from running away. So that you can just take the word prevent and stop and swap them in that sentence. But it's not always, this is a very real physical thing. So I try to eat healthy to prevent my body from getting sick. Let's do this. I eat healthy to prevent my body from breaking down. So I eat healthy. It should be 2. I eat healthy to stop my body from getting old and sick. I try to eat healthy to prevent my body from breaking down. Breaking down in this case would be like an idiom, like when your car gets old and breaks, breaking down. I try to eat healthy to stop my body from getting old and to get sick. Okay, so let's go. Our sentence. The mayor promised to something the education in the city's high school. So he's going to change it. He thinks talking to the students and getting their opinions is really important. So he's going to reform, which we said was, to change and improve. So that seems like the best answer. Reject. The mayor promised to stop, to refuse education in the city high school, to stop it. That's not a good idea. The mayor promised to publish, to print education in the city. That seems not right. The mayor promised to stop, to prevent education in the high school. So no, he's going to change it to make it better. So the mayor promised to reform education, to improve education in the city's high schools. And that's about all the time we have for today. If you have any questions, you can send them to soundsgreatenglish@gmail.com. I'll see you next time.